You can start over, right now, without drama, without permission, and without erasing what came before. There is something important here, and you feel it, a quiet pull. It says, this is not the end, it is a beginning. Listen to that pull. Most of us think starting over needs a perfect plan, a dramatic exit, or a clear new identity. We wait for a sign. We wait for everything to be fixed. That is the tension I want to help you with today. You have a life that contains chapters that didn't go as you imagined. Maybe a job ended. Maybe a relationship did not hold. Maybe a decision you made brought consequences you didn't expect. And now you feel stuck. You rehearse the past, or you imagine a future you cannot reach. You worry about shame, loss, or the fact that you do not know what comes next. That stuckness shows up in small ways. You scroll the same feed, you tell the same story to friends, you keep the same routines because they feel safe. You make plans in your head that you never test in the world. You avoid the risk of looking foolish. You avoid the awkwardness of being a beginner again. But there is another way to look at this moment. Not as the end of something, but as the simplest place to begin again. A reset does not need to be an overhaul. It can be a tiny reorientation. It can be a different stance toward what already exists. Think about a pot of water on a stove. When the heat changes, the water shifts. It moves through different states without losing itself. You cannot force the water to be still, and you cannot force it to be something else. You watch, you adjust the flame, you move the pot if needed. That kind of practical responsiveness is what I want to offer you. In everyday language, the idea here is simple. Life moves in cycles and patterns. When one pattern breaks, you do not have to fix everything. You adjust your attention. You align with what is true right now. There is an old way of thinking about this flow, a single word used for the natural way things unfold, but we will keep it practical. The point is, you can begin again by changing one small thing today. Before we go further, do something small. At the bottom of this video, leave a short sentence that marks your intention. For example, you might write, I begin again today. That single line, placed outside your head and into the world, does something quiet. It signals your mind and body, and it helps you step past the loop. It does not solve everything. It simply starts a new groove. Now, I want to be clear about the real struggle here. Starting over is not only about making a plan. The real fight is inside your chest. It's the fear that you are wrong, or late, or damaged. It is the voice that says, if I failed at that, I will fail again. It is the part of you that imagines being laughed at, or that you will lose respect, or that you will have to carry the embarrassment forever. Those fears are tired patterns. They come from old experiences. They are not destiny, but they are loud. They talk over the small, steady voice that says, try this. The key is not to silence the fear with more thinking, but to move in spite of it and to change your relationship with it. Here is one simple shift that will change how starting over feels. Instead of treating the new beginning as a test you must pass, treat it as a practice you are learning. Tests are final. Practices are curious, imperfect, and repeatable. Tests ask for proof. Practice asks for presence. When you make the shift from test to practice, everything loosens up. You can fail and learn without it defining you. You can take small steps and notice what works. You can be kinder to yourself when progress looks small. You can try again tomorrow. That is the essence of starting over in a sane, steady way. To make this real, here are 3 practical exercises you can do today. Each one is short, concrete, and aimed to help you step into the feeling of beginning again. Exercise 1. The 5-minute reframe. What it is: a quick mental reset that turns a stuck spiral into one small, clear choice. How to do it today. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Sit where you will not be interrupted. Close your eyes if that helps. Breathe naturally. Name the story that is looping in your mind now. Say it out loud, quietly. The job I lost, the argument that still stings, the plan that failed. Say it without adding commentary. Then ask one simple question: what small, possible next step can I take that moves things forward, even a little? It might be sending one email, reading one article, making one phone call, or cleaning one corner of your workspace. Pick one thing. Commit to that single step during the next 5 minutes. Do it. What feeling to notice? Notice the relief that comes when you choose one small action. Notice the slight loosening in the chest, the small lift in your shoulders. You are not trying to solve everything. You are trying one thing. Notice how that feels. Exercise 2, the beginner's letter. What it is: a short letter you write to yourself as if you were a student learning something new. How to do it today? Take a sheet of paper or open a note. Start with "Dear Beginner" or "Dear Me learning this now." Describe what you are learning to do. Be honest about what you fear. Be clear about what you can try this week. Include one small, manageable goal. Sign it with your name and a simple intention, like "with patience" or "with curiosity." Fold the paper or save the note and put it somewhere you will see it tomorrow. What feeling to notice? Notice the gentleness that comes when you treat yourself as a learner. Notice the permission that arises to be imperfect. That permission will make your next actions easier. Exercise 3, the evening reset. What it is: a short ritual to close the day and open space for a new beginning the next morning. How to do it today? Tonight, before bed, spend 5 to 10 minutes reviewing the day. Write 3 short sentences. One thing I did that helped. One thing I learned. One small thing I will try tomorrow. Keep each sentence short, specific, and kindly worded. Avoid judgment. Imagine you are reporting to a caring coach. Then, take one deep breath and let your shoulders drop. Put the list by your bed. What feeling to notice? Notice the calm that comes from naming one next step. Notice how the mind relaxes when you end the day with clarity instead of rumination. Feel the slight expansion that comes before sleep. Do these exercises with no drama. No need for perfection. The point is practice, not proof. You might be thinking, these are small gestures. Are they enough? They are enough because starting over does not happen all at once. It happens through repeated small choices that shape your attention. Those choices change your habits. The habit of trying, of adjusting, of being curious, that habit becomes your new identity, slowly but surely. I want to take a moment to say what you are feeling is valid. Starting over can stir grief. It can feel like loss. It can also bring relief and fear at the same time. You do not have to fix those feelings before you begin. You can move with them. Being tender with yourself is not weakness. It is the most honest path through change. Let me share a short story to make this concrete. There was a woman named Aiko. She had lived in the same town for years. She worked in a small publishing house, and she had a life that looked safe on the outside. Then the company changed hands, and her role disappeared. She did what many of us would do. She blamed herself at first. She replayed every decision. She imagined she was too old to start over. For months she sent out resumes and received polite rejections. She spent evenings in the same loop of worry. Then, one morning, she remembered something small that used to bring her joy: drawing simple maps by hand. She had done it as a child, sketching neighborhoods, little paths, and imagined cities. She had never thought of making it into work. Instead of treating this memory as a fantasy she could never afford, she treated it as a practice. She committed to drawing one small map a day. She posted the maps online without worrying about likes. She wrote one sentence about the process each evening. On day 42, someone from a tiny design studio saw her maps and offered 3 freelance commissions. That was not the end of her struggle. It was not a magical fix. But the turning point was the decision to try something small, consistently, without demanding that it prove she was worthy. The maps did not rescue her overnight. They retrained her attention, and they gave her a way to show up. The real lesson is how she shifted her identity from "I failed" to "I am practicing." That shift changed her actions, and that changed her life, step by step. If you are imagining a similar path, remember this: the first attempts will feel awkward. That is normal. Awkwardness is a sign of growing edges. The newness will feel strange for a while. Keep showing up. You may ask, what about big decisions? What about moving cities, or ending a long relationship, or changing careers entirely? Big decisions are best made with small experiments. Try a weekend in the new city. Try one honest conversation. Try a short course in the skill you imagine. Let the experiments reduce unknowns. Each experiment is a small beginning, and each will teach you something. Here are 3 signals that you are ready to begin again. First, a curious itch. You notice interest again, tiny sparks, even if fear is loud. Second, a lowered need to justify. You are willing to try without convincing everyone. Third, a small action. You do one thing differently today than you did yesterday. If you have those, you are already beginning. Now, a brief practical set of steps you can use to move from intention to action in 5 minutes right now. 1. Breathe. Take 3 slow, long breaths. Let your shoulders drop on the exhale. 2. Pick one small action that feels doable in 45 minutes. Not a year-long plan. Not a threat. Something you can finish today. 3. Name one fear out loud. Say it once, honestly. Then say the action again. Do it. 5. At the end, spend 1 minute acknowledging what you learned. No judgment. 1 minute. These 5 steps are a loop you can use every day. They ground you. They keep momentum without pressure. You might wonder about identity. If you began again, who would you become? The answer is simple and practical. You will become the person who does consistent small things. Identity follows action more than it precedes it. When you act like someone who tries, you begin to feel like someone who tries. The feelings will follow the steps. Let me bring this back to your heart. Starting over will ask you to be present with discomfort. It will ask you to be curious instead of certain. It will ask you to trade loud final judgments for quiet repeated practice. That is doable. It is a human pace. It is forgiving and effective. There will be days when you do not feel brave. That is expected. Courage is not a constant. It is an action you take again and again, even when the feeling is small. You do not need to feel enormous bravery to begin. You only need a small, steady decision. Before we close, I want to return to the invitation I gave you. At the bottom of this video, write a single sentence that marks your moment. Something as simple as, I begin again today, or, I will try one small thing, will do. That short line will act like a little anchor. It will not solve everything, but it will help your body and attention line up with this new choice. Take a breath now, and imagine the smallest next step you can take, the one that matters because you will actually do it. See it clearly. Feel the relief that comes with a single, doable decision. You have done harder things than this. You have come through pain before. That does not mean it will be easy. It means you have the resource of experience. You know how to get up after a fall. Use that knowledge kindly, not harshly. In the coming days, use the exercises we talked about. Try the 5-minute reframe when your mind loops. Write the beginner's letter when you need permission to be imperfect. Use the evening reset to end the day with a clear next step. Over time, these little practices will change how starting over feels, from frightening to ordinary, from final to possible. This is not magic. This is the slow work of habit and heart. But small, steady practice builds real change. The world does not need you to be fixed before you begin. It needs you to begin again and again. What single small step will you make today? If you want more ideas on gentle ways to practice beginning again, subscribe for new videos each week.